Great outdoors. Hey all you pioneers and adventurers. Welcome to the most beautiful state our country has to offer, the last frontier, Alaska. My name's Donnie, and my mission today is to go over some of the key vocabulary terms you need to know before you set out on a kayak in some open water. After you go over these terms with me, go ahead and take a review quiz, and then set on out there and tell me what you find. Now, the type of kayak you use all depends on the water that you're paddling in. In my case, I'm in a recreational kayak with a sit-in cockpit. But in Alaska, you want to use what's called a sea kayak. And now the difference between a sea kayak and the whitewater kayaks that you're used to at school is that they got a longer hull. The hull is the distance between your bow and your stern. Now, it's taken me about 20 years, but I have finally figured out the difference between the bow and the stern. And the only way I can do this is by saying something in my head. The bow determines where you go. The bow determines where you go. Alright, so far we've covered what's called the hull, which is the bottom of your boat, the bow, the stern, and the cockpit. Now, something else that's on your boat is called the deck. And the deck is made for dogs. Come on, Spance. Come on, Bert. Now, right now, Spencer just ended up partly in my cockpit, so we're gonna call it a dog pit. When you got a dog paddling with you, you need a little extra stability. And to get a little bit more of a hold on your kayak, use what's called your thigh braces. These are just right here, where your thigh would go. So, once you got your dog on deck, next thing you want to do is make sure you don't hit him with your paddle. So you need to know the parts of your paddle. So this middle part right here is called your shaft. And on the ends, these are called your blades. Don't hit your dog with your paddle. He's not gonna like it. So, now we just covered the paddle, the shaft, and the blades. The next thing I want to show you requires that Spencer gets off the boat. So, Taylor, can you grab onto one of these grab loops and let Spencer get off the deck? Go on, Spance. Go on, you burp. Thanks, Spance. Shout out to Spance. This final part of the video requires me to do something that I'm not really in the mood to do, but I'm doing it for your educational benefit. We need to cover two more parts of this boat: the chine and the rocker. Now, the chine I can still show you from here. The chine is this line.
Chime?
No, not a chime. A chine is this line.
China?
No, not China. A chine. A chine. C-H-I-N-E. A chine. It's this line. Right here. And the chine lets you get away with doing stuff like this without flipping your boat. But I can't show you the rocker unless I flip this boat. So I'm gonna do it. And lastly, I lost my hat. And shout out to one of my favorite students, AR, for making me this hat so that I don't get hypothermia when I make this video. Now the last part kayak I want to show you is called the rocker. Now, the last term I want to cover with you is called the rocker. And the rocker is the shape of the bottom of your kayak. On a sea kayak, you don't really need a rocker. The bottom of those boats are pretty flat. And the reason for that is because you just want to paddle many, many miles and go in a straight line. You don't really need to do many turns. On a whitewater kayak, like if you're down in Ohio though, you need a much more aggressive rocker. And so the boats that we paddle a lot with Wybeck are more shaped like a banana. And that lets you do all these sweet turns and 360s to dodge rocks and just look really cool. Don't mind my boat sinking. But when we're in Alaska, we're not trying to really shred the gnar in our sea kayaks. We're just trying to go smooth sail it. Look at that, an orca. See you guys later. I'm fine. All right. Now, if you're paddling a boat that looks like this in Alaska, you might be on the way to what we call hypothermia. And one of the ways you can tell if someone's on their way to getting hypothermia is they might start doing things that don't make sense. Like making weird, awkward videos. Or trying to paddle their boat with a fishing rod. So if you start seeing signs of hypothermia, what you need to do is warm up real quick. And that would mean getting out of this water and probably getting some kind of calories in my body. A great part about being out in Alaska is we got plenty of king salmon to slay. Oh! Massive. If you want to learn how to build one of these sick fishing rods, check out the link above. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.